Alright, what is up everybody? It's Lids and we are back for some more Pyre, and it looks like, I know I may have said this before, but this ought to be our final shot at the Liberation Rite, our last chance to set one more person free. Who will it be? We'll just have to see. That does, of course, require that we succeed here against, well, will it be Manly? As at least the current schedule would indicate. Or might we have a surprise visitor here to pitch in instead? Because I've said it many times before, but I mean, it's been a while since we have seen Orlek. Oh, and there he is. Your wagon reels from the impact of some sort of massive object slamming into it, mid-flight. False nightwings. Orlek calls down to all of you from atop his wagon. Again, you seek to climb that accursed mountain beneath us. Again, you seek to take my rightful place. I should send you crashing down to it, that you might fall as I have. He stares down at all of you. But I shall not. Rather, we shall meet upon the summit. Here the last cycle of the rites is ended. Until then. Hey man. Okay. Yep. So, right on cue, as anticipated. I believe that means that we will not, in fact, be going against Manly in this upcoming Liberation Rite, but instead, going against none other than our old friend, rival, enemy, whatever you want to call it, Orlek. Also, I'm just realizing, was this always the case? Have there always been the symbols of each of the triumvirates in the background here, or is this new? This has got to be new, right? I would have seen this before, right? I would have noticed that. Think? Maybe? Anyways, let's get to it. So we have the high road, first of two paths leading to the mountain summit, where we sense Gertrude. She'll gain favor from the scribes if we land there. So, we were discussing this a little bit earlier, that I believe the three people who are going to be eligible for liberation will be Ruki, Tay, and Tizo. That means that Gertrude and Volfred will not be eligible, and I mean, they could still participate in the rite. There's nothing stopping them from being one of the other two members, but, I mean, this probably isn't coming as a huge surprise to you, but I haven't warmed up to them quite as much as I have the other characters. Maybe, you could argue one of them ought to take the place of Tizo in that final spot, but probably not. However, alternatively, we see the other option is to go the second of the two paths leading to the mountain summit, the temple cistern, where we sense Volfred will gain favor from the scribes if we land there, and neither one is one of the exiles that I would anticipate us using in this upcoming rite. So, for that reason, I mean, take your pick. I don't think either one is going to be terribly consequential. But let's take Gertrude. Make landing on the sacred Mount Elodium after your encounter with Orlek. Orlek spoke the truth. He has a right to gain the summit. When the time comes, Celeste shall deem him worthy, and shall let him pass. Because he's technically a Nightwing, so he is technically automatically allowed to gain access. While he has transgressed against the rites, he has also already been anointed and prevailed. Nothing is written in the book on this, and liberty ought already be his. For the time, it seems that he has not yet traveled to the summit. Perhaps he is still making preparations with his fellow exiles. When exactly Orlek intends to make good on his promise, he did not make clear. For now, you are to confront Manly and the Chastity upon the summit. First, you may prepare. Really? I'm assuming that Orlek is going to do exactly what he did a while back when he replaced the Fate and said, nah, we don't need you anymore. I'm taking your place. I mean, I suppose he could still face us immediately after the Chastity, but I'm assuming he's still gonna butt in and replace them. I don't know. We'll have to see. But no one to talk to at the moment, so let's see. Seek the Sapped Scribe's favor. Wow, that is a tongue twister. Later that afternoon, you accompany Bertrude through the fading glory of Temple High Road, the monument of Luz Gloria, who is, of course, the third of the 8 scribes of the Book of Rites, known as the Wise or the Philosopher. He's the sap, and he is said to have fathomed every thought, and his wisdom flows through the river of his name. We do not fear the ancient gods. Ye cannot even keep the stars illuminated in the dark. We do not fear what is to come. We do not fear for our companions. We do not fear for our adversaries. We do not fear for the Commonwealth, or fear for you. And we do not. We return to the wagon after she's finished paying her respects. I don't know if I would call that paying respects, but who am I to judge? The summit awaits, but first, there's time to continue practicing your vocation. Bertrude gained +2 presence for the next rite. That's what I was alluding to before. I don't think that's going to be all that meaningful on the assumption that we will not end up using her in 1 or maybe 2 of the upcoming rites, if in fact Orlek decides to go after the Chastity. Okay, so let's take a quick look at our roster. Reason for that being is, do we have reason to try to tutor someone, or, as I would suspect, we probably have our 3 candidates already pretty much locked in at this point. Like, there's no way Bullfred suddenly gains all this enlightenment to catch up to Tizo, likewise with Bertrude. So I think, no matter how you slice it, there's nothing we can do at this stage to change this up. It is going to be either Ruki, Tay, or Tizo. Sorry, Bullfred. Sorry, Bertrude, but it just isn't going to work out for you this time, by the looks of things. Unless, of course, something out of the ordinary happens on this final liberation rite. So, that in mind, I think that almost rules out mentoring a companion. It does, I mean, we could still mentor Tizo and get him up to that final rank and allow him to get 1 more skill point, which could be useful, assuming we do intend to use him. We can study in private, but this will only lead to us gaining a little bit of presence for everyone on the team, and I don't think that's going to be terribly relevant. I think the primary competition between tutoring Tizo would be if we choose to forage for resources, because we could potentially try to find something of value, sell it at the next slug market for profit, and then use our remaining soul to purchase some 1 rite upgrades like we did for the previous Liberation Rite. And if it turns out that we only have 1 rite here to conduct, then maybe that is a good strategy. If it turns out that we're actually going to be going against the Chastity first, and then immediately afterward the other Nightwings, then those 1 rite bonuses, presumably, would not carry over into that second go-round, in which case, maybe that's not a great strategy after all. So, I think it's maybe a little bit safer to tutor Tizo. He just needs the tiniest little bit of enlightenment, but it'll make a difference. It means either being able to get this, drop an improved moon sign, or allowing Tizo to come back more quickly after imploding, or giving him a much larger area for it, or even go here, turning him into a fast-moving howler. We have a lot of options here. Let's give it a shot. Squeak! Tizo would be pleased to go over the finer points of the rites with you. You and Tizo compare thoughts on how each of your fellow exiles can contribute to prevailing in the rites, and in which groups of 3 they can maybe achieve their very best. Tiniest little boost, that's all you needed. A hidden power, a terrible, unbridled fury, seems to have awakened within Tizo. All in all, he seems very enthusiastic about it. Okay. That was a little terrifying. But, as I was saying, we now have the choice of allowing him to return much more quickly after using his implode ability, which I think that would be very useful, because that is one of the primary issues with Tizo, is whenever he's the last remaining character, and at least on your team, and maybe the opposing team has the orb, and you're thinking, hey, I mean, we really need to get rid of this person with the orb right now, but if we're Tizo, and we try to cast to get rid of them, then we're going to implode in the process, and then we're going to have no one, and we'll be vulnerable. So, that's happened a few times, I think, and, either choosing to implode and then having our adversaries score soon afterward with a wide open field and a remaining character left to still just waltz in with it. And a few occasions when I saw that situation and thought, maybe let's try to avoid this, and might not have been able to stop the person who had the orb, but said at least, we didn't give them an easy one. So this, I see the potential there. On the other hand, we could make the implode much stronger by being able to take out more people more easily. Not a huge fan of the Howler move, because although Tizo is not very fast, and that could be a nice way to boost his speed, I never salute at all. And I'm hesitant to try to work that into our strategy at the last minute. That seems like that is not a great idea. And this one, it's the last one of this group, which would normally suggest that this is the most powerful. The thing is, though, that at least with our talisman, one of the talismans that we used at one point that dropped a moon sign or something very similar to that potentially, that gave infinite stamina temporarily, we saw that although we, of course, anticipated that it would work for our own teammates, we also noticed that our adversaries could pick it up, and then they had all the benefits of it. So, I'm not sure if this would only apply to us, if we would be the only ones able to pick it up, because it does say Tizo drops an improved moon sign that boosts allies' speed and stamina. But that may be reading into that a little too much, and that's not actually all that indicative. So I'm a little hesitant to go that route. I think this is the safe option. I think we go here, as this is definitely a strong upgrade. May not necessarily be absolutely the best under all circumstances, but I think certainly we can live with it. Tizo feels honored to be of service to the exiles of the Nightwings. Alright, there you have it. We've 3 fully enlightened people. We have to continue on our way toward the Scribe's Gate. Probably, one would assume, for the last time, although we appear to be stopping early. Deep in the sheer cliffs of Mount Elodium, you find a messenger looking to bring you the latest news and rumors from the other side. Alright, so last time we freed Sir Gilman, and we have not yet heard what things happened on the other side after having freed him. This time around, the imp brings tidings of Sir Gilman and what happened to him since his liberation at the Fall of Solium, when at last his self-imposed exile came to an end. He learned that his return to the Commonwealth was met with much rejoicing, and that before long he was promoted to the rank of Veiled Captain on the Bloodwalker. And yet, with tears welling in his eye, he did refuse the post, stating he no longer had the heart to fight against the Highwing remnants as he once did. He then cast down his helmet, and when next anyone saw him, he was among Volfred's agents, having joined the revolution to reshape the Commonwealth from within. He thanked the messenger for the report, and saluted crisply, and as surely Gilman would have. Soon, the news has everyone in the wagon talking. Tizo feels inspired by the news of Gilman's selfless action. The tears he shed ought have been bottled and set aside for use in various sounds.
Noble Gilman made the gallant choice, it seems. Our plan comes closer to fruition through his good example and support.
Hey, I can tell you one thing. The story is quieter without having him around. Right, everyone? Do you think that one day I can be as brave as him? Because I don't always think I can. The news of Gilman's liberation fills you and your fellow exiles with newfound resolve. Plus one hope for everyone in the next right. Jim, good fortune on the other side. So we continue to the Scribe's Gate. You are returned once more to Scribe's Gate, where the Gate Guardian awaits under a dim sky. The exiles of the Nightlands, and you, three. This is to be one of our final meetings. One of, or definitely our final? I don't know. Greetings, Celeste. The Nightwings are prepared, and afterwards, I would have words with you in private, please.
Oh.
It seems to me rather late for words now, Tariq, but I shall hear them once your charges cross the gate. Now all of you, come forward. Please state your names and what it is you seek whilst crossing Scribe's Gate. Once more, your companions cross the gate, one after another, and once more, follow them in turn. Celeste regards you all and waves you through toward the summit. The 8 scribes bid the Nightlings welcome. Go forth, glory. And Tariq? I, Celeste? You may rejoin the others in a while. For now, I would hear those words of yours. Certainly, Celeste. Everyone, I shall see you shortly.
Okay. Oh, this is new. Okay, no one to talk to. I do wonder what the Lone Minstrel and Celeste are talking about. I mean, clearly they're singing right now. But we do, of course, have one last visit, or at least I assume, last visit with Falcon Ron, in which, we were talking about it earlier, we may have one or two strategies we might want to deploy. Oh, for a second I thought he was reading that out loud. I was like, what, is Falcon Ron a reader? After all this, what a curveball. I'm afraid not, though. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Hey, guys, it's gotten real cold again, Peter. But it's worth it, let me tell you. You got a lot of customers been stopping by. Okay, I may have been exaggerating just a little bit, since I have been waiting here a little while, I guess, but Are you buying anything?
Okay, so Falcon Ron, what do you have for us? We have 117 soul, which is actually a lot. We could purchase some of these permanent upgrades here, but these were the things that I was referring to before. The ability to gain a more substantive boost for at least the next right. So this is 4, whereas these are just 1. The reason why we might only, or why we might not choose to use these ones that give the bonus for only 1 right is there was some hint, some allusion to maybe us going up against first Manly and the Chastity as 1 right, and then potentially after that Orlek and the Nightwings. And in that case, I'm assuming we wouldn't have the opportunity to go back to Falcon Ron and buy a new round of stuff. So I would assume that using this stuff would expire after the first right, and then would not carry over into the second one with Orlek, which I assume is probably going to be far more difficult. So that gives me some pause here as to what the best approach would be. I mean, we can afford what? Could afford all those. I would have to check my maths. I'm not sure if we can afford all those and this. We could potentially go back to our wagon and see if we happen to have one of those fruits that we could sell for just a little bit more. So that might be just enough to be able to afford that. I'm hesitant to try to do mental maths on the spot, because that makes me nervous. Oh, in fact, although it does look like that's exactly the right amount we need. Maybe? Possibly? I don't know. Maybe I'm 10 off. But either way, the primary question is it worth buying these serums that only apply for 1 right? Or is that, for the most part, going to be inconsequential, given the way in which this upcoming right, or rights, plural, might go? So I think... I don't really know. I'm wondering if by any chance there's talisman of a relatively expensive variety that we weren't able to afford earlier that might suddenly be of greater interest. It's good. It's also good. Just I don't think we're going to be able to afford anything meaningful on the talisman front, so I think we are looking at the serums in that case. And I think we ought to get this. I do, because I think quickness is so big. It's really helpful to have this, so I'm going to go this route. And then, yeah, so we will be 10 off here in this case. So we'll only be able to get 2 of these if we do, in fact, choose to go this route. Well, there is an achievement for using one of these, I think. If we do have some left over, then actually may have just enough to do that. We can afford this. Let's nab it. We can afford this. So let's nab it, and we'll have 22 left over. And then we will pick up one of these, which we may not have much reason to use, but... Oh, nice. That's one of them scribe snuff thingers there, huh? One dab of those little guys and you'll be like, woo! Know what I mean? They're pretty popular. I got my connection, and they got their connections, and they got their connections, and they got plenty more of those. So just come and see me and Dad here later on. We ought to have one back in stock. I mean, you still have 2, and also I can't afford them. So that's gonna be that. So, be seeing you guys. Get a page in the Book of Rights. Not really sure why, but okay. Foraged findings. There is a simple pleasure to be found in foraging about this place. Easy for a cur to say, of course. Though barren looking to the naked eye, the downside has its share of semi-hidden treasures waiting to be found. It was a nose for treasure, after all, which drew us here. Certain types of artifacts found in this place would fetch a reasonable sum in sold, whether because they shine with inner light or due to other, special properties. I've observed that stardust, freshly fallen from the heavens, sometimes glimmers in the afternoons. I've not found a use for it, as yet, although because it brings me faith, perhaps I have, indeed. And that is that. We could, of course, look to use this on someone. I'm not sure that we have anyone who immediately comes to mind, unless if we want to maybe opt to take the additional jump option with Ruby. He does still have the ability to jump twice. His other end one here gives him the ability to jump a second or third time, which I was wondering if maybe against the Chastity that might be a little meaningful, given how there's a lot of auras to jump over, as we saw last time. But I think I'm content with things as is. Okay? Oh, I forgot that Tay, while grasping the orb, sprints and jumps without using stamina. Yeah, that is huge. Okay, so I like Tay's as well. Izo, I know we just made an upgrade here. This one. I do like this too, so I think we keep Tizo as is. So that's probably the people that we would end up actually using in this upcoming rite. But it doesn't mean we couldn't still use it on else. Like Gertrude, just for the sake of having used it once. There we go. And so, could choose to go to the other side. Yeah, let's go this route. Make her a little speedier, and she deals more damage when we are ahead, as opposed to when we are behind. Whether or not that will actually mean anything going forward, we'll see. But it's time for what may be the final liberation rite. Will it be the Chastity? Will it be the Nightwings? Orlek's gonna have his way in some way or another. Just how exactly does he plan on intervening? We'll have to see. Time has come again to deliver one of your fellow exiles to a homecoming in the Commonwealth, lest your adversaries, the Chastity, achieve the same instead. The lone minstrel has returned and approaches as you await the signal from the stars. There is something that I wish to ask you. Something which, ordinarily, would not be my place to discuss in any detail. You have observed the stars. You would not mind my asking you in such a direct manner. How many liberation rites are you supposing yet remain? I'm assuming this is the last. Have you deduced how many liberation rites are still to come? This the very last? Perhaps the lone minstrel asks a leading question to break the news that this is to be the final stand. What I'm assuming. Let's say 2 remain. The rate at which the stars are vanishing, and the cycle is hastening, leads you to only one conclusion. There ought to be 2, including this one. Or, you have not spared it any thought. No, I haven't really thought of it at all. Stars and future liberation rights be damned. Wow. What matters is what happens here and now. I mean, I'm assuming this is the case, but let's try to be optimistic and maybe, just maybe, somehow, this will convince the lone minstrel that we should have a second liberation rite. Okay, maybe that's still just wishful thinking, but let's give it a shot. You tell him the only logical deduction you have been able to make based on all of your readings of the stars of late, that there shall be one final liberation rite after tonight. I concur with your evaluation, reader, sir. Okay, I like that. However, I suspect, given all that, the way this is going to work is that we are going to have Manly and the Chastity in one liberation rite, and then immediately thereafter have another liberation rite against Orlek, with nothing in between. 2 opportunities to free people, but still, immediately after each other. I wish to make certain you are aware, so that you and the Nightwings may yet make the most of your remaining time together. Thus, I do kind of wish you had told me this 5 minutes ago when I was considering spending all of our soul with Falcon Raw, but I'll give you a pass on this one. As to what shall happen once the final liberation rite is ended, we soon shall both find out. But lo, it seems that we are called upon once more. Before you. Here we go. No. Not doing any Titan Stars, not this time. The stakes are just too high. We must win. Each time you manage to liberate a fellow exile, revolutionary plans' chances of success increase.
Reader, I would ask that you think back for just a moment, if you please. When you first looked upon the Book of Rites, think back upon the words that it revealed. Oblige the voice that tells you more. Oblige the voice that tells you more. Would that the scribes were here among us still. I would not sing your praises to them, rest assured. I trust that you shall savor this occasion. You shan't have to oblige me for much longer.
Alright. Sorry for being so disobedient. The pyres burn, and each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. I concur. Pyres burn. Each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. Then, anointed, one of the Chastity, come forth now and declare yourself, and pay any respects you have unto your adversaries, the Nightwing. Manly flourishes onto the ground and grasps his mask in his spindly fingers.
Warmest salutations to you all upon this blessed eve. I'm H. Manly Tinderstock, and I must say I'm very moved to be a part of these proceedings. It shall be my humblest of privileges to return, quite soon, I hope, unto the Commonwealth, where I shall dedicate myself in full for the betterment of that society. I long to be a part of this glorious tradition, even when my freedom is rightfully restored. For it is not the case that exiles such as we are called upon to lead. How are you to govern in your commonwealth is not our business here. Your intentions shall mean nothing if you do not prevail in this right, Manly Tinderstock. Oh, but I mean no offense. Meant no offense at all. I shall serve well these rites, I promise. Why, I should think I shall be sending many exiles here into the downside to replace me.
Don't like the sound of that.
I can think of quite a few who I think would benefit from experiencing this wonderful tradition for themselves.
Then Manly cumbers his face again.
Now, as for you, Nightwings, make no attempt to undermine me here, and nothing shall befall you or your beloved ones in the Commonwealth. Is that a deal?
Hey. It's Manly. He is once again bringing a flying friend alongside him, and Nomad, I think, might be exactly the same group that we just went up against. Nightwings, your choice. In whose name shall you conduct this liberation work? I wish you the wisdom of the scribes, making your choice. And I wish you to come prepared. Our song with me. Okay.
Whom shall you attempt
So,
to send home this time?
let us take a quick look at the Chastity. As I was saying before, I anticipate it is likely the same group that we went up against last time. Fortunately, Manly is not fully enlightened, so he does not have all of his powers available to him, but just as a reminder, when banished, he will drop a sapling that has an aura around it. So that caused us a little bit of trouble last time, where we had to just walk around the edge of that aura and try to sneak into the one little corner of their pyre that was still accessible. That is, if we run out of stamina on our sprint toward it. If not, then we can hopefully leap over and make it much more straightforward. But he has that. When casting his sprout, or after casting his sprout, Manly's sapling spawns faster than usual and gains a larger aura. After casting the sprout, Manly may remotely detonate his sapling in an aura burst. So yeah, I still am not sure I've ever seen him do this, so I don't know just how large of an area that aura burst affects. Okay, is this the same person you had before? I think it may be. 50% more stamina, letting him jump and sprint more often. People in his group regenerate stamina twice as quickly as usual, and while bearing the orb, this guy and his allies move and pass the orb more quickly. So although he is fairly slow with just 10 quickness, that does mean that everyone is a little bit faster than that. I don't think terribly fast, but... Ooh, and you are only... you only have 2 abilities here. While flying, you move faster, and you can dash twice in rapid succession for less stamina. In terms of your talismans, I think these are the ones you were using last time. It allows you to heal a little bit of your Pyre's life. Same here, and then Manly had a different one, allowing him to charge up his orb-flinging capabilities a little more quickly. Okay, so, again, much like last time, they have probably the largest auras, where they can create some pretty substantial walls around their pyre, including with Manly's sapling. So that can make it a little tricky to either wind our way around for a score, or make it so that we're relying pretty heavily on jumping or fluttering in. But they are slow. And so that should be something that we're able to take advantage of, given our playstyle, but it does mean that we need to be very mindful of that going forward. Okay. So, who do we pick? Set free. Great question. I suspect our choices will be Ruki, Tay, or Tizo. So those are our 3 people who are fully enlightened, and yes, both Bertrude and Volfred are unworthy, just verifying. And so I think, bear in mind, actually, that as, presumably, the Lone Minstrel was correct, and there are, in fact, going to be 2 liberation rites, this one and one afterward, it does mean that if we're successful, we will actually lose one of these members for the next rite. I mean, that's the same as it's always been, it's just that our team is getting pretty darn small at this point. So, I mean, if we, for example, liberate Ruki, then suddenly we're down our primary speedster for that last rite. So that would be very difficult, I would think. So for that reason, I think we do not choose Ruki. In addition to, I'm still not totally convinced that he would be as impactful on the other side, given how, I mean, he's a traitor, first and foremost, again, with a D, not a T. He's not a villain. But, there may be some benefits to having someone like that on the other side, making it easier to accumulate resources for our team in the Commonwealth. But I just don't see that as being influential enough of a role for him to be the most beneficial on the other side. Whereas Tay, I mean, she has very few ties, and we know so little about her that I am very reluctant to send her over. Tizo, I think, is the right option here, because he has the direct lineage to the scribes, and I'm hoping that that means that he can be a really strong symbol for our cause. I don't love that this puts him in the center position, though, because that means we're going to start with him, and makes it so that he is the one that's in the best position to zoom forward and take the orb initially, whereas I would normally prefer to have Ruki or, in the past, Hamatha in that role, but only so much we can do. We also picked to choose his legendary talisman, which gives him more floating time, which I think is going to be key, because as I was saying, there's going to be some pretty large auras for us to try to flap over, and Tizo is going to be the best at doing that. Tizo seems stunned by your decision, though is very grateful for you for it, all the same.
Who shall
Okay.
be at his side?
So, next, I think it's gotta be Tay and it's gotta be Ruki. Primary question would just be, which talismans do we see as most beneficial to their cause, and do we want to put on some additional quickness? I think, given how we now know that, or at least it would appear, as though we are not about to go up against Orlek, I think we save this. Save that for the actual encounter with Orlek, on the assumption that that is probably going to be, far and away, the most difficult rite that we have yet to do. So, I think for that reason, let's see, these are one and the same, functionally. Although, okay, theoretically, if we were to throw the orb in, there is the chance that we deal less than the full 20 damage, in which case, this would be better. It sounds like this would still apply the full 10, even if we throw it in. So I think that is technically slightly better, at least to cover for that scenario. Oh, I can help? I think I can help. And then last will be Ruki, of course. And for him... Oh. Oops. Okay, that was suboptimal because I forgot we want to put that on Ruki. Okay. So, minor mistake. We would have preferred to put the Flame Leech on Tay and the one that we just gave Tay to Ruki. I mean, it's going to be the difference of gaining back 3 life on our Pyre. I mean, we'll see. Hopefully that isn't a difference maker, but nothing we can do about it now, unfortunately. I tried to get a little too analytical there, I guess, and missed the big picture. I'll back him up, sure thing. Now it begins. Do me this favor, if you please, and stand aside like a good sport there, hmm? I promise to reward you handsomely once I'm free. Not so fast.
Commence.
Okay, I'm gonna deliberately pass it off to you. Oh, I tried to jump, but I was too slow. That was maybe not the best idea. Oh, again, I tried to jump, but it did not work for me there. Excuse me. Loading. Thank you. Where are you putting that? My jump is, not... Well, maybe I'm just running out of stamina very quickly here, but for whatever reason, it seems like my jump is not working so well at the moment. Make it! There we go. Okay, strong start. However, we need to be very careful of, any future attempts that they make to mix things up a little bit. Because if they get mad and change their strategy, like they may be about to do, then that threw us for a real loop against the Essence. So let's see what they have here.
Ho ho ho, what's this now? It seems to me the scribes so enjoy our company, the entertainment we provide. but they have deigned to reignite our pyres. Observe. Oh, are we starting back at 100 here? I mean, you didn't score against us at all here, so it's not a huge loss, but that is a little frustrating. Something stirs in the sky. The heavens are to reign and reignite your pyres. Then the rite shall continue, ere one pyre or the other is put out. Plus 50 for them, and we don't get any. Okay. Like I said, fortunately, we didn't really need that all that much. Ooh, you got me though. Okay, hold on. Oh, I saved it at the last minute there. Oh, what just happened? I'm very confused as to what is happening right now. Okay. Ooh. Sped past. Okay, we are still in the lead. We need to be careful there. Fly in. Nice. Well done, Tizo. Not sure if they're going to have another extra plan to mix things up against us. Love to find a way around you. There we go. Okay. 2-ish more scores. Potentially 3, depending on who we score with. Can we make it? Ooh, unfortunate timing there. Ooh, bad move. Although, that was in fact absolutely... Oh, stroke of luck. Not good. Gotcha. Ooh. Gotcha again. Okay, I would prefer to have you. Ooh. Ooh, I tried to charge up the jump, but I wasn't fast enough. Uh-oh. I don't think we're gonna be fast enough here. We're not. Okay, that we did. Alright, Rookie, you're the speedster. Make it happen, buddy. Uh-oh.
Well, now that was exciting.
Not so fast. There we go. Made some of that back. Regenerating a little bit of our pyre. Fortunately... Ooh, that was close. Do have infinite stamina here. Ah! Charge time. Every time it's getting me there. Don't have anyone at the moment. Oh, I missed again! It's that charge with the jump is messing with me. I'm not used to it. I guess I just haven't been jumping much with Tay. There we go, though. That's big. Close.
No more than a lick of flame remains.
Nope.
Ouch.
Fly over! Drop down. That's it. Can we sneak by? I'm not sure. There we go! No! I'm waiting.
Seize the orb.
Trying to be patient with it. Tay is back. I'm gonna try to seize that opportunity. I prefer going this way. Ooh, that was good timing on your part. Waiting for you to run out of stamina here. Thank you. I'll take that too. Oh, but that was good timing on your part. And we just barely get there. Yes!
There it is.
And that was it. Ooh. I don't know how close that one was because we had a lot of back and forth. A lot of games playing with how much life
each of our Pyres had. But that's it. That's Tizo then.
Thus ends the liberation rite,
He earned his freedom.
and thus the scribes have chosen.
Take that, Manly.
Exile appointed by the Night Wings shall be free.
As much as they hate it.
Of all misdeeds,
Set another free.
return to glory in the Commonwealth. His adversary and all others shall remain to carry out their rightful sentences.
Alright. Well done, Tizo. And it does feel pretty good as well to, beat Manly. Deny him this opportunity. Why, this is an utter outrage. Have you any idea what you've done? You ingrates! And I don't remember if I've mentioned this before, but that's a picture of all the scribes there, and depending on who you pick to set free, the corresponding scribe statue rises up. So in this case, we picked Tizo, and Haub, the imp scribe, rises up. So that's pretty awesome. Tizo is stunned by what transpired, and what he thinks is about to happen. He looks around as the reality of what transpired sinks in. He realizes now that this is goodbye, at least for the time. And he's never been to the Commonwealth before. He was born in the downside. He struggles to express the gratitude he feels at having served the Nightwings these many years, and he has been with the Nightwings for a long, long time as well, because he dates way back. He also does not know what to expect from the Commonwealth, whether he will be accepted. Alright, so let's bear in mind, I think we were sitting on... I always forget to check what our probability of our plan succeeding is just before we go into the Liberation Rite. I really should, so that we can see exactly how much we get out of setting individual people free. Forget if we were either 71 or 74%. Don't recall which. I think it was 74. Scrog! Nevertheless, he vows that he will keep doing his part to the benefit of Volbred's plan. With that, he splashes into the Shimmer Pool and is gone from view. You hear him chirping one last time. Tizo wishes for the best for each of you and asks that you remember him. Tizo has earned his freedom. May he return in glory. Find the fact that he's technically not returning because he's never been there to begin with? Oh, that's so cute!
The cycle of the rites is nearly at an end.
Alright. Ruki and Tay, neither one can rank up. So that's going to be that. No ranks there. The others didn't participate. We, the Eight, we cannot bear the burden of determining your worth. Determined by something. You prevailed in the liberation against the Chastity. Already does the Black Wagon feel quieter than usual without Tizo, who returned to the Commonwealth. Again, return is a strong word for Tizo, having never been there before. You overhear some of your companions reflecting on this. I think I learned so much from him, didn't I? Last thing he would have wanted is us sulking around. What do you say we raise a glass instead? You wonder who, if anyone, among you shall be the next to go. The last light of the stars still shines for us above. At this point, what is to become of our plan needn't be the subject of our speculation. I trust that we'll learn the outcome soon enough. We'll learn the outcome. Okay, so 74 before, it's up to 79. So I think that means we got 5% out of liberating Tizo, or thereabouts, because I don't remember exactly where we were beforehand. That was a little bit lower than what we've had after freeing some people, because I think we've gotten 6 from Jodariel, Edwin as well, I think, although some people might have only given us 5.
Our actions to this point shall pave the way. Perhaps our faith as well. So, let's for now focus on this. We stand on the brink of the last turn of the cycle of the rites. Soon, we'll have a final chance to get one of you home. Now, reader, up for a little stargazing? Let's see where the downside we shall be returning for these final rites.
We turned back toward the darkness to look upon the last few stars too stubborn to relinquish their light. The scribe stars yet burn for you atop the sacred mountain. Determine where they lead. Hau, the Midnight Star, Gol, the South Star, Jomir, the Dusk Star. I was anticipating that we would be headed straight for this next liberation rite, but apparently not. I would suspect there must only be one more right in between. Who can we go up against? Not really people who I feel so inclined to face. Either the Dissidents, who are one of the 2 people who have beaten us thus far, and who we've already resolved any remaining conflicts, I think. The Tempers, who we have beaten on the 2 previous occasions that we faced them, but they don't seem to have, again, any major things for us to sort out with them at this stage. Or the Pyre Hearts, and this is the group that Sir Gilman originally came from, but, again, managed to resolve any issues that he had with his former captain, Sir Deluge. So there isn't much for us there either, I think. So I think this one is definitely a no. This one is definitely a no. I think that really, although there isn't much for us to do on this occasion other than just try to emerge successful from the right, I think that means that going up against the Tempers, who, in my estimation, are the weakest of these 3, at least with regard to how they match up with our playstyle, because they tend to be big, slow demons, whereas these are a bunch of curs that are speedy, and these are a bunch of worms that are speedy. So I think makes the most sense for us to go to Hau, the Midnight Star, to face the Tempers one more time. The stars are definitely getting dim. You can see the sky getting red. Once more, you are to face the Tempers, then. Although, I wonder. He hesitates before saying anything further. I cannot sense his thoughts. I mean, it might be that despite us having just picked them, that we are in fact going to turn right around and have another liberation rite immediately. I apologize. I was lost in thought there for a moment. Let us make way to the cairn of Hau, where everyone is feeling more refreshed as much as possible. Alright, and with that, I mean, that is our second to last liberation rite. I mean, they keep on doing this to us where they lead us on, making us think that this is the last one. No, this is the last one. I mean, it's fortunate because it does mean we've had the opportunity to free more of our exiles and our team is getting smaller, but we were successful in sending Tizo, I mean, I hesitate to say back, but to the Commonwealth, and appears as though we will have one more shot. Who will it be? I don't know. Just have to wait and see, because that's going to wrap things up for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.